Hi everyone. Thanks for coming and checking out my video this week. Sorry it's a little bit delayed. I got mixed up on some of the timelines. Yeah, so this is my, I guess you could call it a presentation on web accessibility. So I guess just to get started, what is web accessibility? Web accessibility is the practice of making a website usable by as many people as possible. Um, I got that from developer.mozilla.org. So what exactly does that mean? Well, we just want to ensure that everyone has the same experience visiting a website no matter what. Um, if, for example, if we were to deny someone in a wheelchair access to a building, that'd be pretty messed up. So, we shouldn't really do that. Instead, we should build the ramp, let them in. To quote Rayman, if you build it, they will come. If you build your website properly, more traffic will come through and you will have more success in that. Having access no matter what kind of um, no matter what kind of item, computer, smartwatch, TV, smartphone, whatever it may be, Samsung refrigerator, it needs to have a good accessibility for anyone to be able to access that website, no matter what they're doing. So what are some good benefits of having some accessible websites? First off, we have whether or not it's ethical. Um, in some places, it's even against the law to have websites that are not user-friendly, that are not accessible by everyone. Um, we have websites, that are accessible, that are even more usable by other groups. We even have HTML that is static and it follows rules and it follows guidelines and everything just makes sense to everyone. So that is something that is one of, a few of the benefits that someone might have for having a good accessible website. Um, Accessibility is extremely important because some of your users might have some disabilities. And some of those disabilities that come up are auditory, as in they have problems with hearing, cognitive, as in they have problem understanding things and accepting things for what they are, neurological, there's issues with brain, physical, they may have an issue with being able to access the website, whether it's via mouse only or whether it's a keyboard only accessible or friendly website. There's lots of different problems that someone might have. There's even speech. If someone is required to navigate through a page by using a text to speech, if it's not accessible for that purpose, then it needs to be potentially rethought of and maybe even redesigned. And then there's even visual disabilities. Someone that's blind, someone that has to have someone else browse the page. So those are the main physical kind of disabilities. Now, other than physical disabilities, there may be people that only have access to a smartphone or even a smart watch or even a TV that they use to browse the internet. There's even older people, that use the internet. There are people with temporary disabilities, things like they have a broken arm or they broke their finger, breaking the lawn or whatever. And there's even situational limitations like maybe someone's on a bus or someone's on a train or on an airplane. There's lots of different disabilities there as well. Then there's even people that may even have a slow internet connection. We want your page to be able to load quickly and efficiently and to not take up everybody's bandwidth. Accessibility is important for everyone, individuals, businesses, and society. So the web itself is becoming more and more needed in so many different facets of human day-to-day interactions in life, in education, employment, governments, everything. A web page being accessible means that anyone and everyone can get the information that they need in whatever method or way that they need it. with the advent of the internet, and everybody having smartphones or watches, or I'm going to say it again, a Samsung smart refrigerator, there is access to information that there has never been at any other point in time. Many people with disabilities, for example, use the internet for everything, for buying groceries, for, just anything in general, watching movies, connecting with their friends and family, loved ones, and being able to print, hear audio, and even see visual media can be even more effective when it's paired up with web technology. Now, there are four main guiding principles of accessibility. It can be just called POUR, or POUR, or perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. These four guiding principles are just some of the guidelines that we should follow when we are designing a website to make it more accessible for anyone who decides to visit it. So let's get down into what some of these things are. So we have, first off, we've got perceivable, or P. And this is where a user can identify content and interface elements by using their senses, as in sight, hearing, even with touch. Some issues that people may have with this may be static links being in different order from page to page. Like, for example, you have your home page link at the bottom of your nav on one page, and then you have it in the middle of your nav on another page. Or even a Word document with a number of non-English words or phrases, and the language on there isn't indicated. Now that, for example, can be an issue because if your user relies on text-to-speech, as in there's a screen reader, and you don't say what the language is, they're not going to understand what is on the page. So, if you indicate somewhere on the page that it's in English, if this is what you're going to be doing with your website, then it will help people who are blind, for example, be able to see what is on, or understand, hear better what is on the page. Another way to fix this, an issue above, like where the links are not static, they're not uniform, is to ensure that everything is the same across all pages, or to even state that on somewhere on the document that the language is not in English, if that's what one of the issues is. The next one that we come across is operable, or O. And this is basically just whether or not a website is able to be used, whether it's operable or not. A user can control buttons. They can navigate through other interactive elements. This can definitely be used with voice recognition, keyboards, whether someone uses keyboards for everything in keybinds, or whether someone just uses their mouse to point and click. If it's operable, then people will be able to use your website. Some problems that may arise is there may be mouse-dependent content, meaning if you are on a big, huge computer monitor and you have to scroll your mouse from side to side to side, it can take a long time for someone to access the information. Or what if someone requires use of their keyboard to navigate through a web page? Or even someone, if they can't see what someone's clicking on, with the mouse, then what use is the website to them? So one way that we can make this a little bit better is to make the website, the page, keyboard accessible, give the user enough time to read the content, and don't design the content in a way that can induce seizures and make the site extremely navigable for all. Understandable, that's the U in POUR. Users have to be able to understand the content and learn how to use the website. It should be consistent in the presentation and the format and predictable in its design. Now, some issues, like with perceivable, is that there may be a number of links displayed in a different order, which can be confusing to people. For example, your home page and your nav is listed at the bottom rather than at the top on every single thing, and on another page it's listed at the top instead of on the bottom. So trying to make things uniform will help users to be able to understand the website and how it works. Also, websites that have a lot of acronyms, especially medical websites, I've noticed, tend to have a lot of specific jargon, which can make the standard user who might be looking to see what hospital might be good for them, or whether or not they have cancer because they have a fever. If there's a lot of acronyms on that page, people are going to be not understanding what is actually being mentioned or spoken about or written about on the website. So the main thing to take away from this is just to make the content readable and understandable. If you're able to do that, then they will want to keep coming back to your website. They will want to refer people because things are easy to use. Very much like Facebook. It's got the home page. It's got, the nav up at the top where you can navigate between the different, your own profile. And then it's got, the marketplace tab. It's got videos. It's very understandable for people. They don't have to wonder, oh, what does this do? They click on the button and it takes them right to that page. And then robust. The content has to be robust. It has to be full. It's got to be interpreted and viewed. It's got to be able to be interpreted and viewed by a large range of people. Users should be allowed to choose their own technologies to access content. Meaning, if someone uses Chrome OS, they should be able to view, your website. They should not be limited to only having to use Windows or Mac OS to be able to do anything. One problem is that sometimes websites require a specific browser to use the features. That's not. Try to make it all usable between all different browsers so that anybody can participate and view your website. Sometimes a screen reader won't be able to read the document on a particular page on an operating system. If a user uses that operating system regularly, how will they be able to get anything done on that website? So one solution that we can use to maximize the compatibility with current and future users is just to make sure that everything is up to date on your website. If you're programming in HTML, you're using HTML5. If you're using Bootstrap, make sure that it's up to date in that. Things like that. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble. Web accessibility, there's a lot of different ways that we can make things more accessible for people on the internet. It doesn't only have to be for people that are disabled. It can even be for people that are able-bodied, and we just want to make sure that everybody has the same experience, hopefully good, of participating and viewing your website, and it doesn't suck too bad. So thank you so much, and here's my bibliography if you are interested in checking out where I got some of my data or information from, and also some of the pictures that I used in there. So thanks so much, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your night.